One drop of rare honey, however, that Thursday did hold in its acorn cup. Hayes was to drive her to the camp in the early morning. Upon sundry sounds of departure reaching me, I rolled out of bed and leaned out of the window. Under the poplars the car was already a-throb. On the sidewalk, Louise stood, shading her eyes with her hand, as if the little traveller were already riding into the low morning sun. The gesture proved to be premature. "Hurry up!" shouted Hayes. My Lolita, who was half in and about to slam the car door, wind down the glass, wave to Louise and the poplars, whom and which she was never to see again, interrupted the motion of fate. She looked up and dashed back into the house, Hayes furiously calling after her. A moment later I heard my sweetheart running up the stairs. My heart expanded with such force that it almost blotted me out. I hitched up the pants of my pyjamas, flung the door open, and simultaneously Lolita arrived in her Sunday frock, stamping, panting, and then she was in my arms, her innocent mouth melting under the ferocious pressure of dark male jaws, my palpitating darling. The next instant I heard her, alive, unraped, clatter downstairs. The motion of fate was resumed. The blonde leg was pulled in, the car door was slammed, was re-slammed, and driver Hayes at the violent wheel, rubber red lips writhing in angry inaudible speech, swung my darling away, while unnoticed by them or Louise, old Miss Opposite, an invalid, feebly but rhythmically waved from her vined veranda. The hollow of my hand was still ivory full of Lolita, full of the feeling of her pre-adolescently incurved back, that ivory-smooth sliding sensation of her skin through the thin frock that I had worked up and down while I held her. I marched into her tumbled room, threw open the door of the closet, and plunged into a heap of crumpled things that had touched her. There was particularly one pink texture, sleazy torn with a faintly acrid odour in the seam. I wrapped it in Humbert's huge, engorged heart. A poignant chaos was welling within me, but I had to drop those things and hurriedly regain my composure as I became aware of the maid's velvety voice calling me softly from the stairs. She had a message for me, she said, and topping my automatic thanks with a kindly, "You're welcome," good Louise left an unstamped, curiously clean-looking letter in my shaking hand. "This is a confession. I love you." So the letter began, and for a distorted moment I mistook its hysterical scrawl for a schoolgirl's scribble. "Last Sunday in church, bad you, who refused to come to see our beautiful new windows. Only last Sunday, my dear one, when I asked the Lord what to do about it, I was told to act as I am acting now. You see, there is no alternative. I have loved you from the minute I saw you. I am a passionate and lonely woman, and you are the love of my life. Now, my dearest, dearest, mon cher, cher monsieur, you have read this, now you know. So will you please at once pack and leave? This is a landlady's order. I am dismissing a lodger. I am kicking you out. Go, scram, departez. I shall be back by dinner time, if I do 80 both ways and don't have an accident, but what would it matter? And I do not wish to find you in the house. Please, please, leave at once, now. Do not even read this absurd note to the end. Go. Adieu. The situation, chérie, is quite simple. Of course I know with absolute certainty that I am nothing to you, nothing at all. Oh yes, you enjoy talking to me and kidding poor me. You have grown fond of our friendly house, of the books I like, of my lovely garden, even of Lowe's noisy ways, but I am nothing to you. Right? Right. Nothing to you whatever. But if, after reading my confession, you decided in your dark, romantic, European way that I am attractive enough for you to take advantage of my letter and make a pass at me, then you would be a criminal, worse than a kidnapper who rapes a child. You see, chérie, if you decided to stay, if I find you at home, which I know I won't, and that's why I'm able to go on like this, the fact of your remaining would only mean one thing, that you want me as much as I do you, as a lifelong mate, and that you are ready to link up your life with mine forever and ever, and be a father to my little girl. Let me rave and ramble on for a teeny while more, my dearest, since I know this letter has now been torn by you in its pieces, illegible, in the vortex of the toilet. My dearest, mon très, très cher, what a world of love I have built up for you during this miraculous June. I know how reserved you are, how British. Your old-world reticence, your sense of decorum may be shocked by the boldness of an American girl. You who conceal your strongest feelings must think me a shameless little idiot for throwing open my poor bruised heart like this. In years gone by, many disappointments came my way. Mr. Hayes was a splendid person, a sterling soul, but he happened to be 20 years my senior, and, well, let us not gossip about the past. My dearest, your curiosity must be well satisfied if you have ignored my request and read this letter to the bitter end. Never mind. Destroy it and go. Do not forget to leave the key on the desk in your room, and some scrap of address so I could refund the $12 I owe you till the end of the month. Goodbye, dear one. Pray for me, if you ever pray. C.H.